Good morning, all of you, and welcome back again to the online session of microprocessors and microcontrollers class. In today's class, we will be discussing about the introduction to the 8086 microprocessor. 8086 microprocessor. Okay, so we'll see what are different features of 8086 microprocessor, and then we'll just have an introduction to the architecture of 8086 microprocessor. Okay, so we cannot complete the architecture today because it will be taking 3 to 4 classes. Okay, so we need to understand each and every part of architecture. So it will be taking 3 to 4 classes in order to completely understand the architecture. Okay, so in today's class, what we'll do is we'll analyze what are different features of 8086 microprocessor. Then we'll just have an introduction regarding that architecture of 8086. As the time is very less, we'll restrict our discussion to that sense, right? So in the previous class, we saw what are different microprocessors, the history of microprocessors. Okay, so what is address bus, what is data bus, what does that number of bits specify? Okay, that we have seen. Okay, voice is very low. Now it should be clear. Okay, not clear. Yes, I'll speak louder. Is it okay now? Is it audible? Right. Right. So after history of microprocessors, we'll now see what is 8086 microprocessor, which is one of the basic microprocessors. But if you are clear with this architecture, operation, and different sections of this 8086, you can easily understand the modern microprocessors operation. Okay, so this forms the base, right? So the understanding and clear idea of this 8086 is very much important for you, right? So please be very concentrated, right? So 8086 microprocessor features. Okay, so as I told you, it is the first 16-bit microprocessor that was introduced by Intel. Okay, before this, all the microprocessors that were invented are only 4-bit or 8-bit. You know what does that bit number specifies? Okay, the bit number specifies what? The number of bits of data, the number of bits of data that a microprocessor can handle. Okay, so here we are using, that means 8086 microprocessor can handle a data of size maximum 16 bits. Okay, when you need to handle data more than having a size more than 16 bits, then it has to be split into a size of 16 bits. Okay, suppose if you have 24-bit data, that also can be handled, but it cannot handle that 24-bit data at once. Okay, it has to be split into pieces, right? It has to be split into 16-bit data and 8-bit data. Okay, that forms 24-bit data. Okay, but it can handle a maximum size of 16-bit data. Okay, so as the number of bits that could be handled are 16 bits, then the number of data lines will be how many? 16. The number of data lines will be 16. Okay, so it has 16-bit data bus, so it can read data from or write data to memory and ports either 16-bit or 8-bit at a single time. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about, right? So it will be having 16-bit data bus in order to handle data. That means handling of data means what? Either reading data from memory or writing data into memory. Okay, so you know what is memory. Okay, you will be having data memory, you will be having data memory, program memory. Okay, so 269, you raised hand. Is there any problem? If there is any problem, you can put that in chat box. If there is nothing, I'll continue, right? So it will be having 16-bit data bus in order to read data from the memory or write data into the memory. Okay, so you know what is memory. Okay, and ports means you'll be having some external devices connected to the processor through those ports. Okay, so this all we'll be seeing in the coming lectures. Don't worry about that. So meanwhile, you will have a 16-bit data bus in order to read data or write data. These data bus or these data lines will be handling only data. Will be handling only data. Okay, and the size of the data is of maximum 16-bit size. Okay, you can also handle data below 16-bit at a time, but above 16-bit you need to split that into uh, pieces, right? And it will be having a 20-bit address bus and can access up to 2 per 20 memory locations. That is almost 1 MB. This we have seen in the last class. Okay, so the number of address lines this particular 8086 microprocessor is having are 20 address lines. That means it can carry an address of 20-bit size. It can carry an address of 20-bit size. Okay, uh, let us say a 20-bit size means 1010011100. So in this way we can have a 0 to 19, which forms you what 20 bits. Okay, so whatever the value in the binary form. Okay, so whatever the value in the binary form, so that memory location will be accessed. Suppose for the return values like 10111111, if it is 64 KB, if it is 64 KB, then this particular memory location will be handled. Okay, then that particular memory location will be handled, right? So the maximum number of memory locations that this 8086 microprocessor can handle is 1 MB memory location. So that means almost 2 per 20 memory locations. Okay, so each and every memory location will have a address. Each and every memory location will have a address. Like in a colony, if you take a colony, for each and every house you will have a number. Or if you take a village, for each and every house in that particular village, you'll have a house number. Okay, why do we need a house number? In order to identify the address of that particular house very easily. Okay, similarly, for each and every memory location in the memory, you will have a particular number. You'll have a particular number. Okay, that is what called address. That is what called address. Like you have house number for the houses. Okay, so that particular address location or that particular memory location will be of maximum size 1 MB. That means you'll have 2 per 20 memory locations. And you have to keep in mind that in each and every memory location, suppose you have a 2-bedroom house. Suppose you have a 2-bedroom house. In 2-bedroom house, you can have a maximum people of 4 to 5. Okay, if you allocate a bedroom for 2 members, then the maximum number of people live in a house are 4, right? A 2-bedroom house is for 4 people, right? Similarly, each and every memory location in this 8086 microprocessor will have or can handle or can store a maximum data of 16 bits only. Okay, hope my point is clear. Okay, suppose with this date, with this what you can say, with this bit, you identified 64 KB memory location. Okay, this is the 64 KB memory location out of 1 MB. Out of 1 MB, this is the 64 kbth memory location. This 64 kbth memory location can handle a maximum, can handle data of size maximum 16 bits only. That means it can handle only 16-bit data. Hope my point is clear. Okay. So in order to identify the address of the memory location, you need 20 bits. Okay. After identifying the memory location, the data that can be stored or the data that can be retrieved from the memory location is of size maximum 16 bits only. Okay. So that is the difference you have to understand. I hope my point is clear. If you still have any doubts, you can post that in the chat box, right? Coming to the next feature here, it can support up to 64 kilovolt IO ports. Okay, so IO ports are nothing but input-output ports. Okay, so ports, what does this port support? Okay, so let us come back to the original definition of a port. Okay, so you have ports at the sea, right? So what does they do? Okay, they exchange goods from one country to another or one place to another, right? They just provide export and import operations from between one country and another country, right? It's just a port is one which provides imports and exports or exchange of goods between one country and another country or one place and another place. So that is the function of a port, right? Okay, that is the general meaning of port. Similarly, the same function will be provided by the ports of microprocessor here. Okay, the same function will be provided by the ports of the microprocessor. So what does these ports do means? They provide exchange of information between the microprocessor and other external devices. Okay, hope my point is clear. So in a computer, you will not have only a single microprocessor, okay, or the single microprocessor cannot do all the functions. Okay, it can help other devices to perform the functions, but it cannot, it itself cannot perform all the functions. Okay, so we need to attach some input devices and output devices in order to perform some operations. Okay, so those input devices and output devices will be interfaced or connected to the microprocessor by using these ports, which are nothing but IO ports. Hope my point is clear now, right? So this particular 8086 microprocessor provides 64 KB. That means a maximum number of 64 KB is the maximum number of IO ports that can be connected to the microprocessor. Okay. Next, it provides 14 and 16-bit registers. Okay. So you'll have registers of size 14 and 16-bit. You know what is the function of register? A register is a device which stores data in the form of binary, zeros and ones. Okay, so it provides 14 and 16-bit registers. That means it can store a register. This particular register can store 14-bit data and 16-bit data, right? And I think it provides 14 16-bit registers, not 14-bit. This comma is not there here. It provides 14 16-bit registers. That means 14 number of 16-bit registers. Right? So we will see what are those 16-bit registers. later in our discussion. And next, it has multiplex addressed and data buses, nothing but AD0 to AD15 and A16 to A19, right? So this is very much interesting to understand. It looks a bit difficult. You know what is a multiplexer? Okay, you know what is a multiplexer? So the same thing you have to understand. Okay, that is why I told you to go through the basics of SPLA. Okay, which you learned in your last year. Okay, everything is related to that. Okay, so you need to know what is the meaning of multiplexer here in order to understand this multiplexer address and data line. Okay, so what do you mean by multiplexer address and data line? See, you'll have from the previous discussion from from second and third point, you can understand that there are 16 data lines in order to carry the data and 20 address lines in order to carry the address. Okay, but here in order to limit the size or in order to reduce the size of the microprocessor, we'll have address lines and data lines multiplex. Multiplex means what? Combined. Combined. A multiplexer is one which combines several inputs and gives you only single output. That is what called a multiplexer in your digital logic theory, right? Okay. A multiplexer is one which combines several inputs to give you a single output. That is what called a multiplexer, right? Similarly, here what we'll do is we'll combine the address lines and data lines. We'll combine the address line and data line. That means we can use that particular line in order to carry either data or address. In order to carry either data or address. Okay, that means both data and address can be carried out through those lines, but not at the same time. But not at the same time. That is what you have to keep in mind, because while carrying in a route, if there is one way, okay, and only single bus can go, then two buses cannot flow at the same time in the same road. Okay, so in a similar way, we cannot carry address and data at the same time. Okay, either of them can only be passed through it. Okay, so that particular line can be used either to carry address or data, but not both at the same time. Okay, so such lines or such buses are called multiplex address and data bus. Okay, such lines are called what? Multiplex address and data bus. So why do we need to combine or multiplex these lines? Why do we need to? In order to reduce the size of the microprocessor. Okay, does this create any difficulty? That is the next question. Does this create any difficulty? Yes, it does create. That means when you need to carry address and data at the same time, because carrying address and carrying data may occur parallelly. Okay, so those two may occur parallelly. Okay, in such cases, you will have a separate latch. Okay, you will have a separate latch which will be carrying address, and this particular lines AD0 to AD50 will be carrying only address, only data. Okay, hope my point is clear. See, most of the time you will not be carrying address and data parallelly. Most of the time we will not be carrying address and data parallelly. But when we need to carry, when there is a necessity to carry address and data parallelly, we will have a separate latch that is incorporated inside the architecture. Okay, we'll have a separate latch incorporated inside the architecture in order to carry the address. In order to carry the address. And these particular lines AD0 to AD15 will be carrying only data. Okay, hope my point is clear, and this point will be more clear to you while I deal the pin diagram of 8086 microprocessor. Okay, for the time being, keep this in your mind. I'll clarify this point while I deal the pin diagram, right? And coming to the next feature, it requires a single phase clock with 33% duty cycle to provide internal timing. Okay, so you know the clock frequency, what is the importance of clock frequency, and as you all know, microprocessor is itself a clock driven device. Okay, and you need this single phase clock and with 33% duty cycle. 33% duty cycle. You know what is duty cycle? The ratio of on period to the total time period. The ratio of on period to the total time period gives you what? Uh, the duty cycle, right? So with that 33% duty cycle, you have clock frequency, right? And prefetches up to 6 instruction bytes from memory and choose them in order to speed up this processing. This you will understand while dealing the architecture. If you see that architecture diagram, then this point will be very clear to you. Even then, I'll explain. It will be pre-fetching. Fetching means what? Getting. Okay, getting. So it will be pre-fetching. That means it will get the instructions before execution only, up to 60 instruction bytes from memory, and queues them. You know what is queue? Queue means what? Standing in line. That means waiting for something, right? So queues them in order to speed up the processing. So that particular thing speeds up the processor, and this point you will understand while dealing the architecture. Do not worry about that. And this particular 8086 processor is having a special feature, that is it can operate in two particular modes, which is maximum mode and minimum mode. Okay, so for specific operation we can operate this in maximum mode, and for any other operation we can operate that in maximum mode. Okay, so that is a special advantage of this particular 8086 processor compared to the previous versions of the processor, not with the advanced versions of the processor. Okay, okay, so compared to the previous versions of the processor, this is what the advantage we have. Okay, so that's it with the features of this 8086 microprocessor. And tomorrow or in the next class, we'll be dealing about this architecture. Okay, so this forms a very important thing in terms of understanding, and in terms of the exam point of view also. This is very much important to you, and hope the lecture is clear to you. If you have any doubts, you can get that to me.